Hi there. So I'm going to talk today a bit more about balance. The tree in yoga is a really good balancing exercise that you can pretty much do everywhere. If you don't mind looking a bit weird, but there are even more basic balance exercises that you might be able to fit in during your week, and they'll probably build a better basis of understanding where your balance is going to lie when you're doing the tree pose. So I'm going to show you them now, and you can practice them at your own will. So the first is we stand in mountain pose, which is called Tadasana in yoga. So it's the feet are together, the inner sides, the inner edges of your feet are together. The inner thighs are pulling up and in, the belly's nice and tight, and the arms, so the shoulders are rolled back and down, and the arms are down at the side. The head's looking straight forwards, and you're feeling like something's pulling you up through the top of your head, so that each and every vertebrae has gap in between. It has a gap of like air in between each one. So feel nice and tall and strong in this pose, which is called mountain pose. From the side, you'll see that everything's kind of active. The hands are active. The shoulders are pulled back and down. We're not rolling the shoulders forwards. We're pulling them back and down. And the belly's pulled in tight. So that's not necessarily the pose. What I want you to do is to start in that pose. It's important to feel grounded. So what we do to start with is we move forwards and backwards on the toes. So you'll see from the side, forwards and backwards. And just kind of feel the weight distributed equally between the toes and the heels. You can also do the same left to right, so that there's not too much weight on one foot compared to the other. And then when you find that centre point, that's where you're going to ground and root through the ground to be able to stand up tall out of the feet, up through the hips and the spine. So once you've found that pose, there are a few things you can do in it to help balance. And so the first is going to be to come up onto your tiptoes. So it's a really simple thing. We want to see if we can do it without holding onto a worktop or a wall or anything, but please use a wall if you need to. This is the type of thing we could do when we're just standing in a queue. It's a little less obvious than a full tree pose. So what we're going to do is find that balance forwards, backwards, left and right, and then really exaggerate when we find the balance by coming up onto the tiptoes. So you'll see how difficult it is by the way that I'm falling around. So I've got my feet right close together now, so my thighs are pulling all the way in, and my heels are pulling in towards each other. From the side, doesn't look much different. You'll just see that I'm coming high up onto my tiptoes, and that's what we're going to do just to practice balance. Okay, so you really want to spread your feet as far as your toes out as far as you can, and keep everything pulling in and tall. A few ways, the same with, I'll show you a few things today, and that one, it's the same with all of them. You can do a few things to make them more difficult. So that's the basic one. You use the wall to make it a bit easier, or to make it more difficult. So yeah, you can put your arms up to the side to give you a bit of chance to balance. You know, if you're falling around a bit, that's going to help. Hands on your hips otherwise. It might just give something for your hands to do. It's not too important to stay in the yoga thing. We're trying to practice balance after all. It's not just about yoga. But another thing we can do is close our eyes completely. So either bring your hands up to your eyes just to give them a place to be, or just shut your eyes. So so you're looking out ahead. And what we do when we balance, I forgot to mention, but what we do when we balance is a really good trick to help you balance is to choose a spot that's right in front of your eyesight. So maybe a little bit above, and it gives you something to focus on to be able to control your body. It's like a solid spot. So in order to increase the difficulty when you close your eyes, that's when you don't really know where that spot is anymore, and so you don't know how you are in relationship to the room. So it increases the difficulty. So we're going to do that. Raise your heels for exercise number 1. Exercise number 2, you're just going to go from left to right. So you're coming up onto your heels again, and you're going from left to right, and then you're going to stop and lift, keep the left leg up off the floor. It's going to probably look like my right leg, but you can bend this leg however you want, just lift it up slightly and just balance on that remaining foot. Again, hands can come out to increase ease, or you can put your hands over your eyes. It suddenly becomes more difficult. And then try the other foot, of course. If you're comfortable with keeping the leg out straight, another thing you can do is just to bring the leg up and then close your eyes and see how you start to wobble when you close your eyes. Each time just keep grounded through the foot and pulling up through the rest of your body. And then of course, good old tree. So once you're comfortable with that, this adds a little bit more difficulty in because you've got the leg so far up. But don't forget, something I mentioned in class, but just to remind you, you're pulling up through that bottom, the supporting leg. So you're not kind of letting your hips relax, I suppose. This side of your body is completely as straight as you can get it. You're really pushing that heel into your supporting leg, into the thigh. Keep your feet spread so that your toes are reaching out over the ground to give you the best or the biggest base surface area on the base, so that you've got more chance of staying upright. And finally, another thing to practice to help you balance, if all of those you're getting a bit bored of for the week, is our lunges. So lunges, hands can come onto your waist, and lunges is something that we do in yoga. We take really long lunges. We have high lunges and extended lunges and deep lunges. So what I want you to do though is just to take a smaller step forward and bring the knee to the floor, and then come back upright and step back. So you step forward, just about one step forward, a regular step. You bring the knee to the floor and push yourself upright. And we're going to repeat that a few times. Notice how my chest is upright, so I'm not falling to the side or forwards. So from the front, it stays, you see how I'm staying completely central to the screen. See, I didn't then. Right, just concentrate. So, same from the side, you're trying to keep in a straight line forwards and also in a straight line from the side to side. And you do this by stabilising the midline, so you're completely engaged, so all these muscles are turned on in your stomach and around your back. So as you stand up, you're not flopping about everywhere. You stand up strong and tall through the top of your head. Your chest is always open and up to the ceiling. I'll show you again. So from the side, see if I put my hands behind my back, as I go forwards, my chest doesn't fall forwards at all, rather stays up and open. So if you want to add to the intensity of that, do it with your eyes closed, of course. Hands behind the head is really good practice, because then your back stays upright, and that's what we want to see. To increase the intensity even more, you can hold dumbbells in your hands, or water bottles, or try just to, I suppose, make it a bit more fun, is holding something heavy in one hand. So as you lunge, it's kind of dragging you down one side, so you really have to stabilise your body as you lunge. Anywho, that's me for tonight. I hope you can enjoy those exercises through the rest of the week to work on your balance, and I look forward to seeing you on Monday and on Facebook. Bye.